Shalom Aleichem. I hope this short Torah finds you and your families enjoying the summer and everyone's doing well. The Vilna Gaon has a small sefer called Even Shlema. In Perek Gimel, he mentioned a fascinating thing. He reads out like this. Someone that has the midah of Bitachon b'Hashem, even though Afa Pisha over Averis Chamuris, he's over terrible Averis, who Yoiser Toif, he's better off, Mimi Shemchuser Bitachon, someone that's lacking Bitachon Hashem. Why? Why is that? Says the Goin, tells the Vilna Gaon, Sha'idei zeh bol yidei kina v'sina. Afa pisha oisik b'Torah b'gimel chasad. Someone that's not doing averos, he's oisik b'Torah b'gimel chasadim, but he's lacking in Bitachon b'Hashem, he's gonna come to kina, jealousy, sinna, and hatred, which is worse off than a person that does a bit Averis but he has Bitachon b'Hashem. Similarly to say that someone that has Bitachon b'Hashem, eventually he'll come back and do tshuva. But someone that's lacking Bitachon b'Hashem, since he'll come to such great Averis of kinna v'sinna, he's not in a good state. What's the makar? What's the source of this? The Vilna Gaon says the source is the Gemara in Yuma, the Testament base. The Gemara says over there, the Gemara wants to know which dar, the dar of the first Bais HaMikdash, which eventually they had a downfall and the Bais HaMikdash was destroyed, or the door, the generation of the second Bais HaMikdash, which also had a downfall, and the second Bais HaMikdash was destroyed. Which of them were better? The Gemara has a side to say that maybe the people of the second Bais HaMikdash are better. The first Bais HaMikdash, they were Rishonim. They did the three big Averos, Gil Arayos, Shvichas Damim, and Avodah Zarah. But in the second Bais HaMikdash, where they sat and learned, they did Torah and Gemilas Chasadim, so they were better. They were Tzaddikim, they were better than the first generation. The Gemara says, no, look at the Bais HaMikdash. Biro Torchiach. Bais HaMikdash itself will prove to us who was better. Because the people, after the first Bais HaMikdash, the Bais HaMikdash was destroyed, but 70 years later, the Bais HaMikdash came back. The second generation, the second dar, Bais HaMikdash was destroyed and is still destroyed. We still have the living in the Golus. Why, says the Gemara, why were the second generation worse? The Gemara says, because the second generation had sinas chinam. The first generation, the Gemara says, Talu Bitachon b'Hakadosh Baruch Hu. They had Bitachon b'Hashem. But the second generation had sinas chinam. Says the Vilna Gaon, what's the source of sinas chinam? The source of sinas chinam is not having Bitachon b'Hashem. If a person will live, a person would realize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is taking care of him. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is mashkiach over him and every step what in his life. Everything that happens from him happens only directly from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Which Chazal tell us, Ein Adam Nogea b'ma shemuchan l'chaveroi afilu k'maloi nima. A person cannot touch what his friend is supposed to get. He can't even come close. Not even here. Not even the size of a needle. Because if that's what he's supposed to get, no one will take away from you. You can't take away from him. He can't take away from you. A person lives with that Bitachon, he won't come to have sinah. He won't have kinah. He won't be jealous of someone else. He won't be hate the other person. The other person caused me such hardships and bad. He'll realize that no one could cause anything bad to happen to you without HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanting it to happen to you. With such a thing, such a Bitachon, even though the outward looks good, they were oisik with Torah and Gemilas Chasadim, but they were lacking the pnimius, lacking the inner, the inner side of a yid, the pnim of a yid, which we just could explain a little bit that the Meshech Chochmah says, where do we find in the Torah the mitzvah of Bitachon? Says the Meshech Chochmah, we find it in the two words that the Torah says, the boy sidbok. We should cling to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How do you cling to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Boy sidbok. In Him you should cling. How do you cling? Through Bitachon, through living and realizing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes care of you. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is totally the control of everything that happens in our lives. That is the way we cling to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So we can explain that since we know that the Torah says that the point of the Bais HaMikdash is v'shachanti b'soichom. I want to be shoichin, I want to dwell amongst you, which Chazal say b'soichoi loy nemar. It doesn't say in it. I want in that building b'soichom. The Bais HaMikdash was only a way that HaKadosh Baruch Hu could be part of every Yid in Klal Yisrael, a part of the lives of every single Jew. So therefore, the second Bais HaMikdash, they were lacking in Bitachon, which caused sinas chinam, caused the sin and the hatred for one another. Therefore, every Yid didn't have the kli to have the shachanti b'soicham. He didn't have this realization of living with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu v'shachanti b'soicham means HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to have a connection to us, wants to have a relationship with us. But we have to make ourselves a kli to enable HaKadosh Baruch Hu to be with us, which comes through Bitachon b'Hashem. The more we're betach, the more we realize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is part of our lives, HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes care of us, we make ourselves the kli kibbul that HaKadosh Baruch Hu could be v'shachanti b'soichom. Therefore, the second Bais HaMikdash, since they were lacking in Bitachon, we were lacking in the kli kibbul to have the whole Bais HaMikdash. Therefore, the Churban was much, much longer than the first Bais HaMikdash. This idea is an aleph base of trying to feel the loss that we have from the Churban Bais HaMikdash. The realization, living with Bitachon b'HaKadosh Baruch Hu, living with Boy Sidbok, with a relationship with us and Hashem, will bring us a greater yearning to come close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Gemara Brachas of Gimel and Aleph says that every time a Yid says Amen Yehei Shmei Rabbo, HaKadosh Baruch Hu in Shemayim says Oy La'av Shehiglas Bonav. Woe is to the father that had to Higlas Bonav, had to get rid of his children. Oy L'bonim, and woe are to children Shegalu Mishulchan Avim, that had to leave the father's table. Our connection, our relationship between us and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not this scary king that gives us a lot of obligations and hard work. The Gemara says our connection is Av L'Bnoi, father to son. There's warmth, there's love. As the pasuk says, Bonim Atem Hashem L'Keichem. The more that we realize that our connection because we realize we have a Shulchan Aviim, we have a Father's table, and Kodesh Baruch Hu is waiting for us, and Kodesh Baruch Hu wants to have a connection with us. We'll feel homesick. We'll feel we have a home. We have a warmth. That Kodesh Baruch Hu, to have such a connection, and we'll feel homesick, we'll want to come back home. We realize we live, the more we're able to mechazik these days in the constant realization on a daily level, and daily things that happen to us, our Bitachon, the Kodesh Baruch Hu is constantly taking care of us. Everything is happening, nothing will happen without a Kodesh Baruch Hu wanting it to happen. And the realization how Kodesh Baruch Hu is taking care of us, the love that Kodesh Baruch Hu has for us, the Av L'Bnoi, relationship between father and son, will, Bais Hashem, want and yearn and daven to come closer, come back to Shulchan Aviim, to our Father's table, and we'll be zeicher, Bais Hashem, to those beautiful years and the connection of the Bnei Bais HaMikdash. B'Korov, thank you and good Shabbos.